Welcome back to From the Bunker. I'm your host today, Burke or Slim Reaper, and I'm here with two very special guests. If you guys want to just introduce yourselves, and we're going to do it in this order every time so it doesn't get fucked up. Matt, Matt, Corey, every time.
Matt. That's your turn, Corey.
I am Corey, aka Pound Cake.
Okay, fair. So what, Matt? Why don't you give the people a little military background? What do you do in the military, and how long you been doing it, and where you been?
6 years and 11 Bravo. Been one deployment.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Syria.
You see where I'm getting with this? You see how I'm.
It builds on to each other.
It was in the Middle East, in the desert.
All right, Corey.
Same thing. Been in 6 years. One deployment to Syria. Same place as Matt. And yeah, gunner for most of my years. Did a lot of that. And that's about it.
Weapons, right?
Yep.
Rifleman, team leader. I don't know if that matters. I don't know. Unrecognized team leader, I should say. You know.
Yeah, you're a half and half.
Only for 3 years without the rank.
That's fun. Being a corporal's fun.
Same money, more responsibility.
Matt, why'd you join the army? Because you're old as fuck.
Something I always wanted to do. You know, I actually wrote a letter in school, third grade, Miss Stone's class, and to myself in the future, 30 years, you know. And she actually mailed the shit. I thought she was going to forget about me, honestly. I wasn't really, very noticeable as a child, believe it or not. Young child. And the older I got, the more noticed I was. But I got this letter. My daughter opened it, read it, and said, "Why didn't you do it?" And I was like, because of you, I didn't want to say, but started having kids.
My dreams were stolen.
Like, oh man, I came to Michigan one time, slept with your mom, and boom. No. But I said, you know what? One day I was drunk in a bar. A buddy of mine was a recruiter and says, "Hey man, I could get you into the Guard. That's the life for you. You could do both sides. Only 1 weekend a month." That fucking liar.
Yeah,
And,
that was a lie.
I've never done a Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, that's I did that because I've always wanted to. That's always what I've seen myself doing. And I love it. As much as it irritates and pisses me off.
So why are you getting out?
Yeah.
That was weird because you said you loved it, but I know for a fact that your ETS is coming up and you're trying not to extend.
And I'm good at it, I know to be an E6, you got to have a DUI and be divorced. I'm halfway there. I just don't want to be divorced. It's much more expensive than a DUI.
These things have a way of working themselves out.
Yeah,
you won't have to worry about it.
Undecided yet.
All right, Corey, sing questions.
Man.
Because you're not as old, so you don't really Were you a 9/11 kid?
I am not as old. I'm only 24, so just a baby. Yeah, I only enlisted because I forgot to put in my college applications in high school. And by the time that it was time for the deadline, I met with a recruiter. And he said I could work, and it's pretty much the same thing the recruiter said to Matt there. So I could work and do both, go do cool shit. And yeah, still haven't done any cool shit yet, but signed for 2 more years.
What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't done any cool shit. You've seen countries people can't even go to, bro. I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
That's fair. It was pretty cool.
I enjoyed it. The rocks, and the throwing. Yes.
The sand.
Those are like the deployment is like the entree, right? What you had was like the little side dishes that no one talks about. Like people put a bowl of croutons out when there's no salad. That's like the kids throwing rocks at your face while you're a gunner. Like it's not part of the meal, but it's nice to know it's there, just so you know exactly what's going on the entire time.
Yeah, I mean the base dogs are fun, so I fucked with the dogs. I like the dogs.
Yeah, we just talked about this at War Meals. Everyone loves the dogs.
Everybody loves the dog.
So you're 24, so what? You're like on the cusp. You probably don't remember 9/11, huh?
No, not at all.
But Matt, you're so old. Yeah, you remember that. Yeah.
Matt was born in '65.
Yeah. You were probably in Wall Street at the time.
It happened. No, I remember I was in gym class, and my teacher started crying, and I was like, "What a bitch, man! What are you crying about?" And then I was like, "No, I remember I was in gym class, and that's like the first words. Like my brother was like, "I'm gonna join the Marines," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm gonna go Army. I want to do something after." But
Did your brother join the Marines?
he did. All of them did. So, all 4 of my brothers did.
Damn.
3 of us joined the Army, 1 joined the Air Force, and then same with my sisters. So,
Oh God.
yeah, my parents been fucking. That's just. I ain't quite met up.
You have like 85 kids, so I mean.
I was about to say it runs in the family.
Yeah, tax time's awesome though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, I make bank.
You're not getting one over on the government. Like I guarantee you're probably not making out like you think you are.
Always claim 0. I don't like to complicate things, I guess. Everybody's been talking about a podcast. I can barely work my phone. I've had it for 3 years, so
I can tell.
It was interesting
to
see.
They didn't have phones when he was growing up, so I mean, it was hard.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of things when I was growing up.
Yeah, in the Confederacy. Hey, I turned 30 today, and my coworkers have been going at me all day.
You'll never catch up. So.
No, yeah, you're correct. That won't.
I mean, I'm convinced that Matt's going to outlive everybody in our unit that we've ever known, loved. He'll be the last one standing.
I was like, oh, you guys are dying. That's for sure.
So, can you, whatever you're comfortable talking about or whatever's not going to get you in trouble, tell us about some complications you had with joining the Guard and then throughout your time in the Guard?
At my age? Is that what you're saying?
Age, health, yeah. Huh.
Oh, actually, to be honest with you, none of that was ever a factor. I was kicking the shit out of 18-year-olds anyway, so nothing really bugged me. When I ended up getting sick, that was a rough one. That was a rough patch, rough year and a half or so. But I was still passing PT tests when I was looking to the left and right, me watching people fail it. So I figured
I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember the first day.
JRTC?
Yeah. I went through all of JRTC through it. Yeah.
Getting lidocaine shots in his back while we were in the field.
Picking up, moving on. I had like 180 some sutures running through my back and down my legs and tearing open, leaking.
I remember the first drill I seen Matt. Met him for the first time. We all thought he had a really funny laugh. And then I didn't see him for like 3 or 4 drills after that. We all asked where he went. And one of the readiness NCOs at the time was like, he's got cancer, actually. He's
And you were like, rip.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so he's not coming back at all. I got it. And I was like, he was not here very long. And then all of a sudden he was back and we were going to JRTC with stitches in his back and yeah, oh man, it was intense.
Oh my God, it's so hot. Fall out the first day. I was like, get up. Stop being that way.
Kids are overdosing on energy drinks and freaking passing out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever really been a hurdle. I guess it's just more bullshit. I've dealt with bullshit. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man. It is what it is. I made a commitment. I'm gonna see it to the end. So this is the end of it.
And then you're gonna extend and do it again.
100%. He's undecided still. We're gonna get.
my wife said I could do it if they give me $100,000 and only for 2 years. And I said, well, I'm good, but
that's ridiculous. He's got unrealistic standards.
I'll talk to the recruiter tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you're getting that, but tell her to have some realistic expectations. How about that?
Well, you married me, so there's none of that. I'm the reality that guy. So why not? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I barely know how to work this, so I've never watched one of your episodes. Big fan, though. Big fan. So, why'd you join? I've never got that story.
Well, if you would have listened to the first episode, you'd fucking know, wouldn't you?
What an asshole.
Huge fan. Huge fan, though.
All the people listening actually know this story. That's the funny part, is the only one that doesn't know is the person in the interview.
I told Corey, he's like, yeah, man, you don't. I was like, dude, all I've ever done, I just follow. I followed him on Facebook. Bam, gave a thumbs up every once in a while. I figured, like, that was good enough. I don't know. I treat you guys better than I do my own friends. So
I was a diehard until I lost that giveaway.
There will be more giveaways.
Did I tell you what I did, Matt? It said to like the post, tag 2 friends to enter, and I tagged him in the post.
Yeah, you tag me, and who's the other person you tag? Tag like me, and then like the Bunker Bros. So like you tag.
They're my friends.
I saw it and I was like, you didn't break the rules. Like, yeah. I guess.
Everybody else is mad they're just not friends.
He was trying to kiss ass, is what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one way to the top, boys.
He's to avoid tagging other people. They're like, I was like, I considered not putting your name into the helmet. And I was like, nah, but he didn't break the rules though, so I have to. So I did put your name in there, but like,
yeah, just unlucky. Happens.
I was actually amazed because the person who won, I actually don't know. I don't know who they are.
Huh.
Which is actually really surprising because like 50 or 60 people entered it correctly. There were some people who like attempted. I was like, you didn't
like
you
way
didn't
off
do it
base.
right. So you can't like they added like they'd like tag one person and then like it. I'm like, you broke the rules, and if you win, someone's gonna be pissed because that you broke the rules.
Oh yeah, I would have lost my shit on social media.
Yeah, Corey's out there rioting because he had a fucking jacket out of my helmet.
Myself.
Yeah, but he was like one of the, I don't know, 10 people that I didn't know that entered. I was pretty surprised. I was like, I was convinced that I would pull out a name and it was going to be like one of you or like one of my soldiers or like
yeah,
my brother or some shit.
Until you text me, I was like, man, I really don't have anything to do today. I'm just going to go to the bar, sing some karaoke.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, you saved me from my alcohol.
His wife is thanking you. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I told her.
Did she say something? She's like, oh, I can't go to the bar. I actually have to go to a podcast with my friends.
I told her that when I got home, I said, so I got something to ask you. She goes, what? Where do you want to go? Who are you going with? And I was like, actually, I'm going to stay home, babe. I'm going to do a podcast. And she's like, what the fuck?
Actually, he also called me before this and said, hey, Corey, what's a podcast? Like, how does that work? He's like, are there going to be people watching us? And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's how that works.
Do you sit in a room with other people? Where do they come from? Is it like a game show?
That's kind of what I was expecting, almost like a Maury or Jerry Springer, like, here's your daughter.
Yeah, we actually have a surprise guest. It's actually one of yours.
I was going to be like, shit, hurry up, delete. I'm not supposed to know about them. You got like a list of questions?
No, I don't. I'm looking at my phone. I got distracted. Sorry.
We're like, dang, he's really professional at this.
Absolutely fucking not, dude. There's like 3 questions that I ask everybody, but like the rest of it is just like bullshitting. Normally it's like, Corey, have you listened to the podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm only actually explaining this to one of you. So like, we like pick somebody normally who has like something to offer the veteran community. For you guys, it's comedy. So,
Yeah.
but since like you guys have nothing fundamentally sound to like offer the veteran community, it's comedy.
Yeah. We're not helpful at all. We're just here to make people laugh.
I'm glad that I took the pictures I did because I don't remember where I was. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's a TBI talking.
yeah, 2
That's not-
TBIs will do that.
Yeah, that's not something that's supposed to happen. But I would say there's something about I don't know if it's like your body like sometimes just chooses to forget shit because like I was in Afghanistan for like I don't know 8-9 months and I remember maybe 5 days total, you know? And, like I
yes,
don't remember shit. I don't remember shit about Iraq. I don't remember shit about. I don't remember more about Syria, but it was like 7 months ago. So
Yeah.
there's probably something to that memory loss, or it's I don't know.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
This.
you're lucky I remember y'all's names.
I remember after one of your TBIs, you came into our room and he's writing on a whiteboard and he says, "Hey Corey, how do you spell good?" And I said, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I spelled it GOOD, but like you wouldn't say food as FUD." And I was like, "We need to get you to roll one, big homie."
When they thought that they were gonna fly me out, I was like, "You best get the strongest dudes you have and be prepared for the fight of your life. I ain't leaving." And then a certain PSG was like, "Hey, you gotta go." Like that's
Why don't you tell them your fight rules? Tell the guests.
Please don't tell the guests. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I don't want to ruin his
Don't do
podcast.
it. No, don't do it. I know the fight rules. I'm good. Just don't. Okay, you can tell them one, the lesser of the two, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I will fight you naked. That is 110%.
Yeah, there's another rule. We're not gonna say the other rule because it might incriminate him.
I could just say allegedly.
That's not how
In
that works.
quotations.
That's not how that
Yeah,
works.
I don't think that's how the law works, man.
Did you have any problem soldiers?
Yes. Oh my
I
god.
need to get a bottle opener if we're gonna get into this.
That one
He
still
just never comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. Not gonna name names, but it was a certain specialist that didn't enjoy showers. He had to teach him how to shower. Hot spots. He didn't know what hot spots were. I was like, you want to at least get those bad boys. Constant liar. I mean, anybody that was where we were knew him because he was running everywhere. Full kit. Just go. Run. Market. Run. Anywhere. Run. He was the one. He's most likely the reason for some of my memory loss, not just the TBIs that I suffered while over there.
I do remember. So Matt had this soldier. He, like you said, he's stank. He was like, he doesn't respond to any type of training. Like normally, like NCOs listening, like you have a soldier, like you try different shit. You start out nice, and then you like significantly increase your aggression when it comes to like things that work or don't work. So like, if being nice to them is responsive and they do what they're supposed to do, then there's no reason to escalate. But then like, eventually you get down to the road of like corrective training or paperwork. So like, I mean, you always got to do your paperwork. You have a paperwork trail. So like, you do it the whole time. But then like the corrective training comes in, like where that soldier is doing like extra duty. He's running, like he's doing all this, and this soldier was doing all of it, and he was not responding. He was not responding for people being nice to him. That didn't work at all. He didn't respond to any paperwork. Did not care at all, and he did not respond to corrective training. He didn't respond to anything. He didn't respond to getting yelled at. He didn't respond to getting talked to. He didn't get. He only got counseled quite a bit. Did not give a fuck, and he was having like so many issues. Like we didn't want to take his rank because then he's further in the hole. Like if a soldier doesn't have money, you don't want to demote them and take their rank because then they're just not getting paid, and then they're in the hole. So it turned out like now he has to run literally everywhere on base. So like he's going to chow, he's got to run. He's going to the towers, he's got to run. Anywhere that soldier was walking, he had to sprint. Like not jog, sprint. And if he got caught, he knew it was going to be way worse. So one time, our relief shows up, and I'm standing out there, and I'm talking to like the dude that's taking over for SOG, like some E6 from the incoming company. And he's like, we're standing there talking. I was like, oh yeah, like we just gotta pick up the dudes, and then we're good for the day. And then the soldier in full kit just sprints past, like just past me. And he's like the NCO staying next to me, just like kind of like does one of these where he like gets ready to do something. He's like, what was that? And I was like, no, don't worry about that. That's just this guy. I was like, it's a whole story. I don't want to get into it, but that's normal. Just don't pay attention to that dude. And then we start walking and get in the truck, start walking again. And there he goes right across the front of the trucks, right past us. He looks at me, he's like, what is wrong with that dude? And I was like, no, he has to run everywhere he goes. He got told he has to, so he just does.
That was always the funnest part too, was when me and Matt were kind of both in charge of him. We would like walk to the market knowing that he was already there, and we would see him like walking, and he would see us and sprint in the other direction, like in the middle of nowhere. We're like,
they don't know
there's nowhere you can go.
It takes off.
Yeah.
It got so bad that the first sergeant and commander there were like, they were concerned because they didn't understand what was going on, and it took the squad leader to be like, hey man, like that's his corrective training, and he explained the whole situation. They're like, oh no, we get it. No, that's fine. I was like, but yeah, when you freak them out, that's pretty. You know you're doing the right thing. You're always doing the right thing.
It can always be way worse. Like when I got in the unit, I had this squad leader, and he didn't do it to me, but he used to smoke the shit out of me. But I was always like normal smoking. But for like the dudes who actually fucked up, it was like he was super creative. Like we were in the barracks up on the hill one day, and there's like the lake at the very bottom. You know what I'm talking about? Where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we were up in the barracks on like the second floor in this private. He's just a piece of shit. Just didn't want to be there. Didn't try. Like a detriment to himself and the company. And he's just like, I was always afraid he was gonna like do something to us when we were sleeping. I was like, because there's something wrong. And our squad leader was like, hey, I want you to sprint down the lake and grab a handful of water and then bring it back. So the soldier did. He's like, I'll be watching you from the balcony, and the soldier did it. He like sprinted down the lake, brought back a canteen cup of water, like brought it to the squad leader. Squad leader dumps it out and goes, nope, try again. Soldier runs all the way back down the lake again, comes back with a Skittles bag full of water. So I was like, nope, dumps it out, do it again. Did it like 4 times. Brought back all these weird things filled with water, like a fucking leaf, like all this weird shit he found on the beach, like filled with water. Eventually the squad leader's like, hey, go down to the lake, grab a handful of water, stick your hand in the lake, grab it, and bring it back. And finally the dude's like, oh fuck, like runs down there, grabs it, comes back. He's like, do you see what I'm getting at here? Like, attention to detail, pay attention, and it will be way less painful in the long run. I was like, yeah, that was like a shitty way to teach it, but it's like a good lesson.
Yeah.
I remember trying to put that into this soldier's head, you know, when we first started just before deployment. I was pen and paper. It's a little fucking detail, I said, but those little details add up. They add up to bigger details. That's why I'm so hard on the small things, you know, carrying a fucking pen and paper on you. And he would not get it. And at the time, you remember, a certain individual was in charge of us before we left for deployment. And I was at home taking care of a newborn baby again. And he calls me and he goes, hey, man, just drop. Start doing push-ups. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. He goes, your guy didn't have fucking pen and paper. And I've got the whole squad here lined up, pushing until he finds one. I was like, whoa, son of a bitch.
My favorite part about that individual, that soldier you're talking about, is anytime you would call him out on not having pen and paper, he would do that specific pat down where like he knows he doesn't have it, but he's like tapping his shoulders, tapping his like legs. And we're like, you know you don't have it. Why are you pretending?
You're not going to find it. If I stand here and stare at you, you're going to come up empty.
And my favorite part is he would do that, and then the whole time make eye contact with you and then be like, I don't have it.
Instead of just saying it.
Like, I told him from the beginning, if I ask you a question, I already know the answer. So if you're looking in places there aren't even pockets for your fucking nope, like why are you patting your fucking stomach? Like stop with it.
I tell you what, this kid was just special though. I don't know, Burke, if you
he
know
just pulls
this
it out from his belt. There it is. I knew it was there.
But Matt, do you remember him with the clothesline outside of the tent?
I do. I was there, yeah.
This kid literally, when nobody was standing next to him.
Okay, that's not true because there was like 10 people standing out there.
I mean, we were all standing out there, but nobody was in his direct, like, shoulder to shoulder with him. And I remember
I was not far. I was like, if I stuck out my arm and did like a little lean, I could have touched him.
But my favorite part was he did the look around like nobody was there. He like looked at all of us, and then slowly and he literally chewed on this clothesline that had been hanging in the desert for God knows how many years. And everybody just watched.
I mean, to be 1000% fair, I did put that up. So it was only there a couple months.
Yeah, it was only in the Syrian desert weather.
I literally watched 30 socks hang from the fucking thing.
I watched shit-stained drawers hang from that thing.
My favorite thing was like he just he did. I remember he looked around, and I think it was you, Corey. Like you looked at me and you did like one of these like. And I like followed it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like looking around. He just slowly puts his mouth on it, and I was like, "What
just
the
had to
fuck?"
taste.
No one stopped him. Just everyone watched it happen.
Another very funny story about him, Matt. I know you'll remember this very well, but do you remember one of our other best friends in our squad, the bigger guy, super funny, and this soldier we're talking about had built a Lego like pistol that shot out a little. He ordered off Amazon. It was a whole thing. Shoots out a little plastic piece, and our buddy told him multiple times, like, "Don't point that at me." And he's the nicest guy, so soft. Like Norman pointed at him the one day and shot at him, and this big dude lost his mind and just was ready to pummel this soldier into the ground because he was shooting a Lego toy at him. Like, that's the amount of not in the same headspace as the rest of us this guy was.
I think he did not know where he was the entire time.
No, not at all.
Because like you were in the car. He tried to kill us the one time.
Well, I remember your look on your face when we both were in the back seat, and a certain squad leader asked him, "Hey, buddy, do you wear glasses?" And he's like, "No." He goes, "Norman, do you have glasses that are soldier? Do you have glasses that are prescribed?"
See, here's a good lesson. Stop. Say what you said again.
Yep.
Again. Yeah. So, okay. When a certain squad leader looks at the soldier who's driving and says, "Do you have glasses that are prescribed to you from the army?" And he goes, "Yep. Yes, I do." He goes, "Where are they?" He goes, "I don't have them." And me and you looked at each other like, holy shit.
But the best part about that was we were sitting there driving for, this is, I don't know, his probably fourth, fifth time driving on a mission. You know, these missions are 8, 10, 12 hours driving. And he would like swerve for nothing, or there would be something that he wouldn't see and he'd hit it. Yep. And I was in the back this one time, the first time I was in the back of the vehicle with him, and I looked at him and I was like, "Hey man, do you wear glasses?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Huh." I was like, "So when we went through the primo, did you do the eye test with the doctor?" "Yeah." When you were coming out of the eye test, did they prescribe glasses to you?" "Yeah." Okay, so after the glasses were prescribed to you, did you receive glasses from the Army? Yeah. Okay, buddy.
We found
After
you had to be very
yeah,
fucking specific with them in order to
after
get the
you
truth.
receive the glasses from the Army, what'd you do with them? Oh, I left them at home. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. So that's when the squad leader came in and was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you were prescribed glasses from the military and you are not wearing them." No. All right, man.
One of the
I
funny
see. I
parts
see
was
what.
I
See
was
what the problem
just
is.
sitting up in the turret this entire time you guys are yelling at this soldier, and I have no idea what's going on. And I dip my head down, and I'm like, Matt, what's up? And he's like, this kid doesn't have fucking glasses. And I'm like, oh, the driver, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we hit that roadblock fucking 2 miles back, dude. You remember that fucking shit? Like it was not a
I
small
remember hitting
roadblock.
my
It was
head
like
on
it was a
shield.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was like the separator in the middle of the road for the checkpoint, and like there was no, thank God there was no guards there, and he just ran it over, and we were all like, what the fuck? You didn't see it? It's a big fucking wall.
That big
Oops.
ass boulder he ran over.
Yeah, just ran it over. And we were like, it's a fucking wall in the middle of the road, dude. And then like, thank God it didn't fuck up the vehicle. But we were like looking at him like, are you okay? Like, what the fuck was that? Of course, squad leader's like, were you sleeping? He's like, nah.
No,
All right.
Of course not.
My favorite thing about that squad leader at TC is he had such a flip flop of emotions while TCing. Because he would literally go from fucking screaming at you to apologizing for screaming at you, and then turn around and scream at you again. And it was like a whole 8 hours of nothing but that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't really mean to take it out on you. And then 5 seconds later, he's like, "Are you stupid, motherfucker? You don't know what the fuck." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
One of my top time fucking favorites is we had that. What was it? It was supposed to be like a 36-hour mission out in the middle of nowhere, and we're just fucking sitting there hanging out. Didn't end up being that long, thank God. But he wanted to be a gunner for the day.
No, yeah. Remember, because he went around the base and he was like, yeah, squad leader says I'm the best gunner in the squad, so I'm the gunner now.
Dude couldn't even rack back to 50. So I'm like, okay, we're going to make you a gunner for the day, and you're going to just stay up in that turret. If I see you moved out from that fucking turret, I'm going to fuck you up. And like, so he held it, man. He held it for 13 fucking hours.
He sat for 36 hours, didn't piss, didn't. We unplugged his mic anytime that the squad leader tried to talk to him. So then squad leader thought he was ignoring him, and he would yell at him some more, and we'd plug the mic back in.
That's
We
a
also
super
had
fucked
like
up joke.
12 freaking rippets. I mean, we were like not well ourselves.
Yeah, we were. I mean, I was alone running on only getting like maybe an hour or two of sleep a day for the last like 3 or 4 months. So like I was dog ass fucking tired as it is. So we're on like
it's TBI.
Yeah, I was on about like he said, like 13, 15 fucking rippets and a couple monsters I bought from the fucking market. And every time he would, the squad leader would be like, asking him questions, and just as he goes to answer, I'd reach up, unplug his mic. And then when I seen him done talking, I'd plug it in. And the squad leader would be like, you fucking hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Then fucking answer me. He go to answer, I unplug it again.
What was that thing? We let him actually answer one of the questions the one time.
Oh,
the squad leader was like, hey, what cardinal direction are you facing? And the soldier answered, and he was like,
12 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I've
never heard the squad leader so pissed.
You're a Nordic sailor, and you don't know what the fuck cardinal direction means? Oh, that little fucking...
That's when you go bingo. That's it.
Yep.
8 o'clock. Done.
Good job. That's all I did. Good job, buddy. You tried.
Another thing that Matt did was he would go over comms with this soldier, and he would say, hey, you're stepping on my leg. You need to move your legs forward. and every time he would inch forward till this kid was like at a 90-degree angle, like most uncomfortable gunner position I've ever seen in my life. Just sweating, hanging for dear life.
Oh,
He
yeah.
called me and he asked me, he's like, "Are podcasts live?" I was like, "Some of them. Yeah, some of them do them live."
I would not put you two on live. No
Yeah,
way.
I mean that's probably fair.
I mean, that is fair. 100%. Skip the apology video.
Before people
Remember-
start feeling bad for the soldier, I just want to tell us he did almost kill a truck full of people.
Yes.
He
Present.
he crashed. I was gunning. I don't know why the fuck I was gunning.
You
wanted
looked
to-
at me halfway through the patrol and you said, "Hey, I want to go up there."
Yeah,
I
but
said-
why was I there? It wasn't even my
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't remember how you got into our truck.
Assuming you
but-
wanted to stretch your legs because that truck was packed full of fucking people. So you were just
Yeah.
like,
I mean, why was I in the patrol? So I did the other ones. Like I'm okay. I guess it was probably a guardian angel thing, and I had to go with like the CO or the lieutenant or something. But I was like in the truck, and I was like, oh, like I don't feel like sitting in this fucking truck and doing nothing anymore. So I switched out with Corey, who was the gunner at the time, and then the dude. First, okay, he didn't have a license, but the
I don't-
army will license you. Yeah, the army will license you, like, and you don't need a civilian license. So there's problem number one. Problem number two is like he doesn't pay attention and he falls asleep constantly, like throughout the day, throughout the night, whatever he's doing, he's falling asleep. So like he was driving and he was like everyone was talking and all of a sudden we start drifting and everyone's like, okay, wake the fuck up. Like we know you're falling asleep, and he like denies it. So he does this. He falls asleep, corrects into oncoming traffic where there just happens to be a vehicle coming at us, and then overcorrects the opposite direction to go off the road and into a ditch. And I was the gunner. So like I'm not having a good time, like trying to secure myself, get into the vehicle out of the gunner's hatch, and like laid across Corey and one of our other soldiers sitting in the back, and they're just like
We were
grabbing
just
onto me,
hugging him.
just hugging me in the back, and everyone just got just wide eyes, just watching us careening off the road into a ditch. And thank God we stayed upright. I honestly don't know how we did, but stayed upright, and so we finally come to a stop. Squad leader like looks around the truck, goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Everyone good? Blah blah blah. Okay, we're all good. Let's go back on the road." And I was like,
calmest he's ever been.
The calmest I've
Yeah,
ever
I was like,
heard
that
this
is
one.
extremely uncharacteristic of you. That is odd. And so like I get back up in the turret and I'm like putting the belt back together, like come off, so like putting the belt back in the 50, kind of fixing shit up there. And then he swerves again, and like the squad leader loses it. That was it. That was the final straw. Just fucking, what the fuck are you doing? I don't want to see you touch that fucking wheel unless you know what the fuck's going on. Like, what did you do? Why are you swerving? And he's like, oh, I saw dirt in the road. He was like, dirt in the road? What the fuck are you talking about? Just goes off on this kid. And I was like, that's more like it. That's exactly what I was waiting for.
I remember the squad leader jumped off that truck and he got in my face at first. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? He's like, you either smoke ever loving shit out of him or I'm fucking everybody down. And I was like, well, man, it's your unlucky day. You're about to sweat. Oh man, that's another thing too, the weather over there. I remember before deployment, people were like, hey, make sure you got all your stuff packed, and a certain individual was like, hey, you're gonna want your winter fucking sub-zero fucking sleeping bag and all this and that. And I'm like, it's the fucking desert. What the fuck do we need
I
that
remember
shit?
we made fun of that dude so much because we're like, dude, we're going to the desert. What the fuck do you know? Like, you're an idiot. Me and Matt aren't packing shit for cold weather. I can't tell you how many fires we built out of benches in the towers because our fingers were numb.
Allegedly.
So lesson is, if you guys are going to go on a
Allegedly.
deployment in the desert, pack fucking cold weather gear.
Okay, I did Iraq in 2015 and 16, and I will say it didn't get that cold. So Syria was surprisingly miserably cold.
Insane.
And then it rains, and then you're cold and wet. And oh my god, it was. I will say, do not underestimate the cold in Syria.
Yeah, that shit out.
Because Iraq
No.
pissed rain, but it was never that cold.
Yeah, we legit with fucking ammunition and explosives all around, allegedly, dug a hole and built us a little campfire burning fucking ammo pallets.
I like how you keep saying allegedly.
That was the thing with our squad, Matt. We didn't even have not until like halfway through the deployment did we get a solid driver, because like we had that one individual we already talked about was like our B driver, and then our A driver was equally like could not drive in the dark. That was his, he literally told us the one night he hit a speed bump going like 50 miles an hour, smashed my face into the 50. And when we all were like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, no, I actually can't see at night, guys. And we're like,
middle of the night.
You mean, yeah, no shit. Or one patrol we went on with this specific driver, we came up to a roundabout, and our TC said, go straight. We're going to go straight through the roundabout. That's where the mission's going. And this driver pauses and like looks at him and is like, you want me to go straight through it? Like, are you sure?
Never been through a roundabout before in his fucking life.
And I shit you not, he goes speeding straight at the freaking barrier. And we're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I've never been through a roundabout. You don't have them where I'm from.
It does what it's told. It puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, dude.
He's definitely the perfect soldier. You just tell him what to do, he's gonna do it, no matter what.
I think my favorite from him would be when they're doing the radio checks before the mission, and the squad leader is trying to get a radio check with the PL. And I was like, hey, like, does anyone have? He's on the fucking comms, and he's like, hey, does anyone have comms with 3.7 or 3.6? And the soldier goes, yeah, hang on a second, and then gets on the comms in the same truck from the same radio and goes, hey, 3.6, this is 3.1 Bravo. Do you have me loud and clear? And nothing happened. He's like, comes back on the radio to talk to the dude next to him and goes, yeah, I don't have him. And then the squad leader just turns and goes, do you have comms with the lieutenant? He's like, no. And he just stares at him.
It was utter disbelief.
Trying to work out in his head, like, dude, we're in the same truck. We're sitting next to each other. Do you not know who I am? Do you not know who the lieutenant is? Do you know we're on the same radio?
And looking at the squad leader, and me and him locked eyes, and I was like, can he hear him? Because I can't hear him. So how the fuck does he have comms that we don't have? And I remember the squad leader looked at him and goes, can you hear him? And he looked back at him and goes, no. no. He's like, what you answering then if you don't fucking have comms?
I remember one of the first times we took IDF, Matt was in a truck cleaning it out. He was sweeping out the truck. And I sent this guy to go tell him, like, hey, we need to get back in, get to bunkers, like, shit's hitting. And this kid runs over and he's like, hey, Matt, like, that's the alarm for IDF. We need to go. And Matt was like, go fuck yourself. I don't hear shit. And stayed in the truck while we were getting fucking hit with IDF until he heard the first impact.
I mean, it's not the incorrect answer.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, telling the soldier to go fuck himself, I don't know if that's, like, cool, but like, staying in the truck is cool. You can just close the hatch.
All I seen, granted, was him going. So I was like, and I just kept going. And then I felt the thud. I was like, oh, hey.
You're like, God damn it. Well, now I can't say I was wrong, so I have to stay in here.
That's it. I die on principle.
I tell you what, man, what pissed me off the most was the IDF drills. Like, they're such a good idea. But I remember one time me and Matt had just done like a 12-hour tower guard shift at night, went to bed, woke up an hour later to the IDF alarm. We ran out. It was that time we had that storage container for a bunker. And we had no shoes, in our freaking underwear, ran out, sat in this hot ass fucking bunker, and our platoon sergeant at the time walked around and was like, "That was a good drill, guys." And I think that was the first time Matt was thinking about fighting our platoon sergeant.
I think so. I want to back up. I think that's PTSD, because that was probably after we got hit super hard that one time.
Oh yeah,
because
most likely.
I remember that. And some dudes from the other squads did the same thing where they didn't even grab their shit. They just, like, as fast as fucking possible, no shoes or anything, just bolted to the bunkers. And I remember it was like 2 days after we got hit hard. And I was like, man, that's like,
That's
I
super close
understand.
to doing the drill.
Yeah, I'm like, it is, but we did.
Yeah.
I don't know, right or wrong. I mean,
But it's all right, because there was this one E6 over there named Slim Reaper that told me, "You guys are going to be all right. It's going to be fine.
that
There's
doesn't
nothing
sound
wrong
like
with
me.
you."
No, I do remember explaining
That
to
doesn't
you
sound like that doesn't
being a
sound like me.
soldier had like a little issue where we I don't know, for some reason I just started like tearing up, but we were laughing the whole time. And I remember you looking at me and be like, "Yeah, we'll be okay when we get home." It's, I was like, "Yeah, for
That
sure."
sounds like me.
One of my
I'm like, "Yeah, man, we'll be okay."
one of my favorite Slim Reaper moments was when we got into a altercation with the cooks we had on base, and Matt came back so pissed off. He was screaming and yelling like, "Fuck those motherfuckers! I'm coming for them!" Blah blah blah. All of a sudden, Slim Reaper comes into our tent and yells and is like, "What the fuck are you yelling at?" "I am trying to stare at the wall." And we were like, "My bad. We are so sorry we interrupted your peacetime."
With the most serious face, with the most serious tone, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to stare at a wall right now. And I was like, fuck. I mean, I knew I had a bad day, but I mean, I'll let you be. It's all good. I was just fucking around.
What'd that cook do to you? I forget.
So
He was one of those dudes that like
he went through Ranger school, some shit like that. Failed on like the first fucking week and bragged about it. And then he tried to keep
long tab.
Yep,
He was doing his long tab.
Yeah, and he tried to keep he worked. He was having my guys work KP till fucking like almost midnight. He's like, "We gotta get this done. We gotta get." I was like, "Dude, these guys got a mission in the morning. I'm taking them. I don't care. Like they're fucking leaving with me. If you got an issue, come talk to my fucking squad leader. You all can hash it out." And then he said some cocky ass remark. If he wouldn't have got on the bird within a week, like
They did. They flew him out quick as hell after it became an issue.
I even talked to the first sergeant. Like, I'm gonna put hands on him. I'll 100% be honest. Start new. I will start throwing hands. Like you mean you
Allegedly.
are gonna allegedly. I'd choke him the fuck out. Allegedly.
So you're talking about the cook, and I just want to say that I fought that the entire time because I hate when like shit like that is forced. Like this is no place for people to be sightseeing. There's no place for people to be learning. This is no place for people to be experimenting with social change of any kind. Like this is combat, and like we have learned the hard way that this is a no fuck around time. And they're like, well, can you just put the cook in your MRAP? No, because what is he going to do in a gunfight? He doesn't know our tactics. He doesn't know the men. He has no place in our vehicles. He can't pull security. He can't do shit because it's just a dude with a gun in a place that we don't need more dudes with guns. Because like all our soldiers know the SOPs. All our soldiers have interacted with the local populace. All our soldiers have interacted with the good guys, the bad guys, all the dudes with guns in the AO. Why do I want some random dude who's never been out in the AO with a gun who keeps talking about how he wants to shoot people? Why do I want that dude on my truck?
Because he makes good makes.
He doesn't, though. He did not.
He always had eggshells in it.
Dude, I was like, I don't think they put them in my truck. They might have, but I started telling people, and dude, listeners, I swear to God, I am not a dick. I am not an asshole. I'll kill both of you. But like, he came up to my truck. He came up to my truck, and I was forced to take this dude, and I was like, "Hey, man, I get it. You want to tell people that you went outside the wire. Literally, that's what you want to do. You're gonna sit in the back of that truck. You're not gonna fucking move. You're not gonna exit the vehicle. You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna look out that fucking window, and you can tell your little war story when you get home. But like, my men are not going to depend on you to do your part because you don't have one and you don't know what the fuck's going on. So,
well, yeah, you got to
get the
take.
truck.
We're taking responsibility for an individual, and fucking. Not only that, like you said, we're counting on everybody that's outside that truck to have our backs. If I were to fucking get hit, I don't know what the fuck he knows. Why in the hell am I gonna want
Exactly.
him? And some of the mechanics, even like there were some that were so incompetent, I didn't really want to trust them working on the fucking trucks alone. And there were some really fucking good ones, but I didn't feel right. And it was even with some of our same soldiers. I know they wanted to change up the order that people did things and people
Yeah.
do other
We
jobs.
want to change our truck, not in our squad.
These people weren't trained on that job. We can't let them just try it out. This isn't a trial, right? This is somebody fucks up, somebody gets hurt or somebody gets killed, and now it's on you, which it wouldn't be. It would be, on the squad leader, platoon sergeant, because that's how kind of things fall. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the commander or first sergeant or anybody's fault that's above them. And they would just let them, like, oh, we're going to make you a driver today. Oh, we're going to make you a gunner today. Hey, guess what? You've never and you've always wanted to. Like, that part of the time's over. That part of the time
Yeah, no.
since we got done training. You can't just put somebody in a role that they just, first of all, weren't meant for. Second of all, weren't trained for. Like you said, if you got somebody that's gun happy, trigger happy, they're going to be nervous. You don't realize how bad your nerves affect you when you're over there. And when you're in the situation like a KLE, which you're not allowed to call it no more, I guess. But when you're in that kind of situation, you got dudes staring at you. They got their hand on their weapon. They mimic you. They do what you do. And if you're fucking nervous and you've got your hand on your weapon the entire time, that's exactly their posture that they're gonna hold with you. That kind of shit drove me crazy. I didn't agree with that one damn bit.
And it goes for everybody who got pushed off on us. He's just the most prevalent in my head because he said some shit when we were leaving the gate. Where like we got stuck at the gate, as you do quite often.
Yeah.
And we were waiting on the battalion like hadn't approved our patrol op board yet or something, or like maybe it was a con op. Yeah, something was wrong with the con op. We had to change the name around or whatever, which is frequent. Happens all the time. Yeah, so we're sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, I got out of this truck, dude. I can't sit in this truck." I was like, "Man, it has been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We have another 8 to 12 hours of this, my dude. Like, this isn't even the start." So like, we open the ramps for everybody, so everyone can like chill out for a second. He gets out, and he's like, "I can't wait to get out there. Like, I can't wait to get out there and like fuck some shit up. Like, I'm gonna talk so much shit to these fucking dudes. Dude, he was just talking shit." I was like, "Dude, shut the fuck up." Someone ended up lighting him up while we were standing on that road, which is nice because I didn't have to do it. And it would look shitty if I did it, but someone lit him up when he was standing out there, and I was like, "Thank God, man!" Like, and he was silent the rest of the drive. He didn't say shit, but he did ask to get out. Like, we dismounted to do like a meet and greet, and he's like, "Hey, man, can I come with you?" I was like, "Fuck you." No, you were mandated to come with us via somebody who is better than you. So that's why you're here. Like, you're not here because we need you, not here because we want you. So just shut the fuck up. Let us do what we do every day. And I won't come to your kitchen and tell you how to do that. So, and yeah, our platoon sergeant came up with this, and I was like, he's still my friend. I talk to him all the time. I'll probably see him next weekend. But he was like, all right, from now on, squad leaders are doing KP till further notice. I was like, that's a bold move. I'm down. We go down to KP at like 5:30 in the morning, whatever. I'm sitting there peeling potatoes like an idiot. Me and him are happy as fuck, dude. We're sitting there peeling potatoes so happy. We're like, dude, this is the least responsibility I've had in the last like 3 or 4 months. I was like, sitting there peeling potatoes. I'm mashing them up and shit, like making whatever we're making for the day. And I think it was 07. Like it just hit like feeding time. So like door opens, like 2 of the medics come in, and they leave the door open. We're standing there, and I'm just like, do you want 2 help smooth potatoes or 1? I'm just like happy as fuck, like scooping shit into boxes. And the medic stops in the doorway and looks around. And he's like, "You guys hear that?" And I was like, "So is that 2 or 1?" And he's like, "No, really." I was like, "No, really, because you need to get the fucking line moving, honey. Come on." And then I hear it. I'm like, "Oh fuck, he's right." And then I hear wham, and I was like, "Ah fuck, here we go." So the medic's on the ground, and I'm like looking at the other squad leader. Caught myself that time looking at the other squad leader, and I'm like, "Hey man, we gotta go." He's like, "Yeah." So we like grab our stuff and like go on over to the bunker, get the medic out of the doorway, and take him with us. And we're sitting in the bunker, and I was like, "I wonder what the rest of the platoon's doing right now." Like sitting there, I was like, the senior squad leaders are stuck in a bunker across the base during a rocket attack, and our platoon has to get up in their vehicles and do shit, and the squad leaders are stuck at fucking KP.
Little backfire there.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I was like, I'm looking around the bunker. I'm looking at everybody. I was like, I know you guys are probably gonna follow us when we do this, but you should not do what I do. Also, if you don't have to move right now, like if you don't have somewhere you gotta be to react to what's going on, you should not move. And they're like, okay. I was like, is anyone here infantry except for me and this dude? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. I was like, medic. I think you got somewhere you probably got to be. Like I know for a fact that you're supposed to be somewhere right now treating some stuff. He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. So when we move, you're moving. He's like, okay. So it's probably been like 2 minutes since the last boom hits. I think there were like 3 of them. The last boom hits. It's been like 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, it's good. This is the first time I was like, the TOC's not reacting fast. They don't know what the fuck's going on. I was like, we're probably good. So, and don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't
But
do
I
it.
like grabbed the other squad leader and we took off running, and we ran through like a series of bunkers to get where we were going, and we passed the platoon sergeant. So we passed the platoon sergeant on the way out, and he's like, "Hey, where you guys going?" I'm like, "We got shit to do." He's like, "I haven't heard the all clear." I was like, "It'll be fine," but I'm sprinting through, so like this conversation's happening as I'm sprinting out of the thing. And I had this on video, and so like me and these other squad leaders like book past them, take off, go to the vehicles, and we have to like grab the vehicles, go to the BPs, set up the BPs and shit like that. So platoon leader's like, "Why are we running?" And I was like, "Oh, because we got places to be." He's like, "But I didn't hear the all clear." I was like, "It's fine. You'll get used to it. It'll be fine." I was like, "Do you hear anything exploding? We're good." And then I got a talking to after that. I got a couple talkings too. And then I did it again.
It was PTSD that shit their pants last weekend.
Hey, what do you do? What do you do in the civilian world, Matt?
I'm a corrections officer.
That makes sense. That tracks. Everything tracks.
Everything tracks. Yeah. Criminals. It's really a revolving door. We don't reform anybody. Let me just put that out there. I'll speak that.
That's a myth.
That's the truth. I love the job. I mean, honestly, like I got back from deployment and they were like, "Yeah, we just need your DD-214 and some LESs." So I turned in all my LESs, DD-214, and like within a week later, I had like a $30,000 check being deposited in the bank. I freaked out.
Hell yeah.
Freaked out. I called and I was
I
like,
would
"Hey,"
too.
I was like, "This number looks suspiciously high." Like you all.
But it's like the army. Like if you get money, they're coming for that fucking money, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you don't want to get money.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a sore butthole. I can't afford this. I said, you better take it back. Take it back now, because it's gone. If it hits my account, there's.
I got
But,
50 kids.
Yeah, they fucking took care of me. I'm gonna tell you what. That's one thing I'd like to share, I guess, with your folks. Like, if you work for the state of Michigan, you're in the fucking National Guard. Like, anytime that I was supposed to work and I ended up having drill, I turned my LESs. They give me a percentage of it. Like, basically, they pay me what I would have made if I would have worked. So I mean, the state of Michigan's great when it comes to fucking people in the
And your
military.
MDOT, correct?
Yeah. People in the military, they take care of. They honestly do. Try to get to a facility that has 12-hour shifts. Good luck. And yeah, they take care of you. Great benefits, especially for those who are coming off of this deployment or future deployments that don't have work. I know we had a lot of kids on our deployment that didn't have any fucking jobs, let alone licenses. Like, I know the one soldier we were talking about didn't have a license. He wasn't the only fucking one. I remember specifically an individual said that the only thing he had was a golf cart.
I don't know, man. The funniest, because like I try to not remember most of the things that happen.
That's easy for me.
Yeah, it's the trauma. It's your brain.
Yeah, I talked to the VA guy on the fucking phone the other day, and he's like, "How many head injuries did you receive while you were over there?" I was like, "At least 3." I was like, "I remember one, but I've been told several others after that." So, we still
I don't
recording?
know. Yeah, I think I don't think it's a single funny thing. I think it's the things that you walk in on as like SOG on the towers.
Oh,
So like, yeah, in like our 2-week tower rotations, like I would like the shit that I'd walk in on, and then the shit that I found out later that I didn't walk in on. Like I had a soldier from towers send me a picture from the inside of a tower. Which one? Not supposed to ever from the tower. So that's one. And then 2, he was naked. Like, yeah. Are you in the bathroom right now, you motherfucker?
the beard was like older.
So,
That one had,
that's so clever not lying.
I think that one had a kidney stone in it. Fluffed it. Hold on.
You remember when Burke said that we were only good for comedic value for the
Yeah.
veteran community? This is why.
This is.
We are all natural and real.
You know what my favorite thing to do nowadays is go to the bathroom when somebody's standing in the urinal and then just like intently stare at them to make them uncomfortable while I urinate until they leave.
You get to leave one piece of advice each to soldiers who are going to be in your shoes for the next 5 years. So like for your incoming team leaders, what is one piece of advice that you would leave for them? Matt, you're first. Them's the rules.
Okay. For team leaders only, or for soldiers as a whole?
So sure. So whatever you think is useful. Soldiers as a whole, team leaders, whatever. Like soldiers who, soldiers who want to like stay in, probably extend with their friends for the next forever.
Is that a hint?
No, I'm just saying soldiers that want to make the army their career, that want to make themselves better, who want to listen to like a guy who's been deployed and done it, seen it, and done it. If you had to pick one piece of advice for the homies?
One piece of advice. It's not just about doing your job. It's about knowing what your job has, right? Like knowing your job inside and out. This goes for team leaders and soldiers as a whole. Like team leaders, I guess it's knowing how, like you were saying earlier, correct your guys, right? It's knowing how your guys take that correction, right? It's not just about screaming, yelling, fucking them down all the time. Like certain soldiers take different lessons a different way. For the soldiers coming up, wanting to be team leaders, like not just know your job, but know the job that's coming up. Know your team leader's job, know your squad leader's job. Like it's best to know what them guys go through. Privates, just do what the fuck you're told and don't ask to. And don't talk about fucking basic training. We don't care about that. I got got basic training, and I didn't care about basic training. So, like, nobody wants to hear the fucking stories you have. Really pay attention to what your team leader and squad leader, like, everything is important. The biggest thing about the Army is, like, you might not see the importance of something at that moment, but when shit hits the fan, like, the importance of them little things they're showing you and telling you, they become important very fast. So you really got to pay attention. Like, if this is something you're wanting to make a career, really dig your fucking heels in and know your shit.
Yeah, and you don't have to know. It is a double-edged sword. I'm going to be careful with the way I say this. You don't have to know why you're doing something every time you do it. Because I was like, sometimes I was a squad leader, sometimes I was a platoon sergeant, sometimes I was a PL. It just depended on the time of day or the month, whatever. But like, if I was given a task, it's a task that has to be completed. I guarantee you, if it was a stupid task that I think we shouldn't be doing or we shouldn't be doing a certain way, I've already had that argument and lost. That's why it's coming to you. So like, soldiers coming in, soldiers aspiring to be leaders, like, I will fight 1000% for not stupid shit the entire time, but you can't win them all. So if I'm telling you we got to do it, we got to do it. Like,
Yep.
you telling me that you don't want to do it, or you telling me that there's a better way to do it, or you telling me that there's a way we can do it but not all at once, or we can do it partly today, sometime tomorrow, and then the next day. Like, I've already had this argument, and now you're just holding us up from doing the thing. But
Nope.
that's
100%.
why leaders get like, I don't know, upset, frustrated. They get frustrated. Leaders get frustrated with soldiers asking questions because we've asked these questions, we've had the argument, and we lost. So now we're frustrated.
Yep.
And now the soldier's like, well, why? Well, why? Why don't we do this instead? And you're just like, because I've gone through this a billion fucking times, and this is how we have to do it. But now you're just taking time away from our brief, and now we have 30 minutes. So,
And now,
thanks.
when you look
But
over and you point over, this is you see the team leader's face of,
yeah, just bro,
I'm gonna fuck you up later. Don't you worry, I'll handle this.
it's impossible. Like,
You
we'd be
can't.
in the briefs, and people would like raise their hand and be like, yeah, well, why don't we take this route? Well, we can't, because we can't just use the same route every time. Why not? Why, like, can't you use critical thinking to figure out why we can't use the same
Right.
route every time? In this
Anybody
war zone,
sense to know, like, hey, listen, like, they know us, how we go, right? Like, they learn from us. So if we consistently take the same route, how fucking dangerous is that for us? Like, how
yeah,
easy is it for them to set
can't
up
you
a
problem solve your way to this answer as to why, like, we can't take the same route every time? Also, you're the reason we have annual classes. That
That's
right
it.
there.
There. That's why we have internet courses we got to take and get cert for every fucking year. That's why privates can't.
Anyway,
Sweet
Corey,
soap.
you've had 85 years to think about your answer, so you should be
Yeah.
good.
I would say my biggest piece of advice really goes for anybody between day one soldiers coming to the unit or people that have been team leaders, squad leaders, up to first sergeants. Biggest thing I've always prided myself in, especially in my military career, is be a sponge. Learn as much as you possibly can every chance that you get. Like they were just saying, don't ask stupid questions, but sit back and observe. I mean, like I said, I pride myself in weapons. I've been in weapons for 5+ years, but I still go and learn shit from different gunners, different weasels. Everybody has a different way of doing things. And now I've been sitting back and trying to learn more of the team leader role that I'm trying to get into, from looking at, Matthew, and, even going up to looking at Burke and other squad leaders that we've dealt with, trying to learn different leadership styles to mold it to what I want to be as a leader. So I would say literally just pay attention, learn your shit. Same thing, me and Matt gave a class the last time we were there, and same thing we told every group that we had was, biggest thing is you can't just expect to, if you're National Guard, just come to drill and then turn off the Army when you go home. Like, you have to do work outside of it. It takes more than just being there and getting a participation trophy. You have to go home and read your machine gun theory. You have to go home and study your battle drills to be proficient at what you do. So I've always seen that the people and soldiers who take the time to learn their shit and actually memorize it and perfect it are the ones who always succeed, and they move up those ranks a lot faster. So if you're a day one soldier and you want those leadership roles and you want to advance, take the time to do your homework and learn machine gun theory, your CLS, your fucking battle drills, everything there is to know. You should be like a sponge and soak all of that up. That way, when a team leader calls you out on it and says, hey, what's the max effective range of a 240? You can give that answer and you can rattle those off every time. That would be my biggest advice to take away.
You never know what you're gonna get into. So like when my first deployment, I was in Dubai and I had like a cake fucking deployment, and then 2 weeks later I was in Iraq, and I was like getting driven into southeastern Mosul, like rockets landing, Marines are doing counter battery while we're driving up, pitch black. I was like, what the fuck did we just get into? And like, so my deployment went from like a 10 on the give a fuck level of I can do whatever I want, drink and hang out, and to a 1 of this is absolutely zero fun, and now I'm actually in a war. And that was, during an invasion. But, our deployment went from like what I would probably consider a garrison standard of, we wear PCs, we blouse our boots, we don't wear a kit everywhere, we conduct bullshit patrols, we do all this stuff. But like, it went from 0 to Fallujah in about 2 months, 2 or 3 months. And I was like,
100%.
That's just how it is, man. Like, Afghanistan, I had the most fun I've ever had in my life in Afghanistan. Like, I had booze, money, whatever you wanted, you could get in Afghanistan. Like, there's no fucking rules. And then one day, it was not like that. One day, the country was falling apart. ISIS was taking over, and now the Taliban is trying to kill ISIS, who's cutting off everybody's heads. So, like, I think what you said, like, yeah, if you want to be on your phone, sure. But you never know when you're going to be in a scenario. Like, you could be on the OSS, the Spartan Shield mission, and get activated mid-mission to go fucking push a front in Syria, Iraq, somewhere in fucking Africa. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
You have no idea. But I appreciate you guys coming on. Matt, Corey, it's been a blast. Probably one of the more fun ones we've had. Not just, bullshit, but also some lessons I'm hoping some dudes can learn along the way about combat, the way it's going, and what they can do to prepare. Thank you for watching episode 6 from the bunker, and catch us next time for episode 7. Once again, thank you, Matt and Corey, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, that's for sure. We hope to be on here again. That'd be an awesome time. So,
absolutely. Definitely going to have to run it back again. Thanks for the opportunity.
Incoming.